Hello, Internet. Welcome to episode number 241 of the Comic Watchers Show. I'm Matt, he's Chad, and welcome aboard. This week, we are talking to Joey Galvez about Archetype Comics Archetypes Magazine, now funding on Kickstarter. Joey, welcome to our show.
Thanks for having me. It's been I'm a huge fan of you guys' show and your website and everything you guys do for the community.
We found one.
I've been a huge no. There's tons of them. Seriously, no. I love the show. I love everything you guys do. I appreciate you guys allowing me to come in and barge in.
Well, thank you for kind of coming in at the last minute.
Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt. So tell us a little bit about yourself, Joey. Like, what's your secret origin, and how does it link us to Archetype Magazine?
So I like everybody else. I'm a long time comic book fan, right? My first book was actually these ones here you see in the background, the X-Men, the Jim Lee covers, right? The connecting covers. Those are my first books I ever bought off the rack for myself, right? Like when I was a kid. But I got it in an ice cream shop, because we didn't have we were in such a small town. I used to live in California in a small town. It was like a farming town. And the only cool place that we can go to was the ice cream shop because they had like arcades in the back, and they had they had two magazine rows, and that's where everybody hung out. So that's kind of where I got my dip my toe into the comic book world. And then 1,000 years later, I started collecting as an adult and started talking to comic book creators like you guys did, and here I am now trying to create some fun stuff on my own, and that's my origin, man.
Awesome. So Archetype Magazine issues 1 and 2 now funding on Kickstarter. Tell us about Archetype, because it's a pretty cool deal.
So Archetypes we call it an indie comic book, indie geek culture magazine, because we wanted to incorporate all these fun things that we love, right? I love comics. I love geeky movies. I've got all kinds of fun podcasts that I listen to. I got a bunch of friends who are podcasters who will do the whole true crime stuff, right? So we're all kind of geeky in our own ways with these different things. So I wanted to kind of bring something that incorporated all that stuff. So we even had some people bring like TTRPG stuff into there. Nice. And what's cool about this is it's comic books, short comics, and comic book articles about comic books or about just fun random stuff. This time around in issue 2, it's a spooky season one, right? Because we just got out of Halloween, so this one's our spooky season issue, and it's a hefty one this time around. Where the first one was only 30 pages, 3 comics, 3 articles, and this time around, it's going to be 10 comics, 10 articles, over 40 comic book creators that were collaborated on this thing. And they're all kinds of like indie comics heavy hitters. You guys know all kinds of them that are like Jonathan Hedrick, CJ Hudson. You guys, there's all kinds of people in there. I can name tons of them. You guys would probably know a bunch of them. And
feel free to name drop.
Right. No, I don't want to. But what's cool about it is, when comic book creators go to like the big places or the bigger places, the scenes, right? They tend to do that with like 8 to 10 pages, right? And if they don't get them picked up, those are all finished and fully lettered and colored. What do they do with them? Sometimes they're like full stories or full, bringing you into the full story. They're dipping your toe into there. So we're like, what do we do with this? And so we wanted to give them a place to put that stuff. So we created Archetypes Magazine for that. And but we wanted to put our own twist on it, which is this creative twist, because we are a full creative comic book art studio where we actually contract working comic pros and help people from everything from comic book to from concept to shelf. We wanted to put in some of that stuff inside the magazine and incorporate what we do for our services and then give it to people for free in the magazine, right? So that they could turn around and use it and stuff like that, because I have ideas but I can't draw. I have a really hard time sometimes writing, right? So I have to kind of bounce off some of my friends. And so I wanted to play. I was like, well, what if there was a place where somebody can just go find all those people in one spot to just like create a comic book? Like if I was like, I had an idea, but I can't draw, I can't write, but I still want to create a comic book. Where can I do that? There was nowhere to do that. So I wanted to create a space for that. And that's kind of what we did with our business. And that's kind of what we want to do with this magazine as well.
So how long have you guys kind of been doing this?
We've been in business for about 5 to 6 years, but I've been kind of doing this stuff for like the last 8 to 10 years. I was in I'm an audio engineer. I'm a podcaster. I also help. I also am a co-op owner of a podcast network. So that was my thing, and I kind of did this kind of thing for podcasters already in that world, right? So I would help them create their podcasts. I would help them learn about what the basics of podcasting gear and microphones and all that stuff in between. And so I was doing that already over there with the podcast world, but I wasn't doing that in the comic book world. And I wanted to kind of, do the same kind of thing with the comics. So after the first 5 years of us doing that with the podcast, I wanted to kind of build out our publishing arm and do that with that thing. So we're kind of doing these things in phases. So with the comic book stuff, we've only been doing it maybe about the last 5 to 6 years. Before that, we were doing it with the podcasts. And so we're kind of just building out this really cool space for like people to create all these really fun things.
I love that. Putting yourself there. Oh, we've got a comment. Great use for all those pitches. Yeah, I have to say so. So
yeah, that's Benjamin W. Morris. He's actually Benjamin W. Morris. He's the one of the artists on our team for he did the homage cover this time, both homage covers for the issue 1 and 2. So and he's got a live campaign going on right now too. So he's a fantastic cartoonist. And
I was going to say the name kind of sounds familiar because as each week I put together our crowdfunding corner. So
yeah, he does Scarlet Twilight and August Purgatory Underground.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool stuff. So how do you find the talent that you work with? What's your process?
So I think it comes into play from when I was a podcaster, right? I had an interview podcast like you guys did. And you guys have like, you keep your emails, you keep in contact with them. So I just kind of talked to them, and then developed some friendships with them, and then we just kind of I just kind of fell into doing this stuff with them, and I was like, would this be cool? They were like, dude, yeah, it's completely needed. Let's do this. So they were just kind of on board. And then when I pitch it to like people that we're looking for to to submit to the magazine, they're all on board too, because they're like, this is fantastic. Where do I sign up? And because we're an art studio, we offer them services or monetary value, right? So we give them a choice to choose money or choose services, and then we kind of give them back that way. So we do a little barter system trade, right? To kind of do this. And then what's cool is we also give them comps so that they could go and put this into their on their table. And what's even really cool is like some of these things we'll even do some like anime or manga type stuff maybe in the future, but these things are like I just went to a cosplay con and to put these books out there, and I was like, oh man, I don't know if this is gonna really work. There's probably like only 2 people here selling comics, right? And I'm like, how am I gonna sell this thing, right? But they got Shonen Jump, and this is really like this is very similar to like Shonen Jump, right? So there was that crossover there, and then but with the comics inside, that's another way for them to kind of like go and open up and broaden their presence at different cons. Right now, they don't have to be stuck to this niche of this comic book con, right? They can go to like anime cons or like manga cons, because there's a manga story inside this one. Check it out, and then maybe you could turn them on to some of your other work. So it's like this ongoing cycle tool that we wanted to use to have creators have on their table as well, right? And then still have some of their work in a print edition of something to sell as well.
Wow, that's a hell of a good business plan.
This is all the stuff that I wanted for me, right? I was like, I want this
Yeah.
kind of stuff in my fingertips. And I was like, well, the only way I'm going to do that is if I create it. And so that's kind of what I did. Was I wanted to create this thing. I know it sounds crazy, yeah, right? But it sounds like a big
How do you
undertaking.
find the time? Because
Right?
Well, I was so that's a funny story too, because in 2020, all kinds of crazy things happened that year, right? Um,
really,
but but I was already doing this for about a year before that, right? And I was getting to a place to where my daily job was getting in the way of doing this work. So I was getting more work working with comic book creators. I'm also a graphic designer, so I also do pre-press and design. So and logo design and stuff like that. So I was doing all that kind of work and helping them do that stuff. So I was able to kind of quit my day job and go into business for myself full time. And I haven't been able to look back for the last 6 years. That's why I said for the last 6 years is what we've been doing, because I quit my job 6 years ago and never looked back again. But now things are starting to slow down. Things are looking crazy. I might have to go get a job. My wife's been telling me you might need to look at getting a real job. So, so if you guys want this stuff to keep going, come and find us so that I don't have to get a real job.
so for this getting to this Kickstarter, what are some of the stories that you guys are that are being collected for this edition?
So for issue 2, we have 10 comics. I'm gonna pull it up so I can give you guys the names of all of them, because I don't want to ruin anybody's names of their books, because they're all freaking fantastic, right? So the first one we have from CJ Hudson and his really awesome crew over there, called A Serpent in Our Midst. And that one follows a couple of elves, and something happens after a snake bite, right? And silliness ensues. So that one's like a fun fantasy story, right? And then we got another one and this one's from our buddy Jonathan Hedrick. He did Spill Blood. He did The Recount. All kinds of really bangers, really good bangers out there, right? So he did one called Abracadabra for us, and this one follows Greg. He's a young man with a speech impediment, and he wants to be a magician just like his grandfather, but he has to say the magic word, and he can't say the magic word because he's got that speech impediment. He says his R's as if they were W's, right? So he says abracadabra, and he can't say it. But once he finally gets the courage to say it, and he says it clearly, you think a cute little rabbit would pop out of his hat there, but unfortunately, a creepy, scary rabbit. And actually, I got some visuals here. This creepy, scary rabbit here pops out, and why he's so upset is because people are making fun of Greg for his speech impediment, even the teachers. And so this guy comes out. He's like, "Listen, you guys are acting crazy. Greg is a sweet kid. Leave him alone," right? So that's that story. And then we got one from our pal Wesley Gift and Justin Stewart, called Howl of the West. A young woman uses her lichen curse for revenge on the werewolf who slaughtered her family. Uh, so that one's a really good one. We got another one from a banger crew. This one is Adam Barnhart. He wrote this one specifically for Archetypes issue 2. It's called Mother. And the log line he gave me was the School of Ashram has long worshipped their god, protecting it through its dormancy. This Halloween, she rises from her slumber, and nobody is safe. So that one's really brutal. He's been sending me some pages with them colored. Literally, there's the leader of this of Ashram rips out somebody's heart and bites into it, and in color, it's so gruesome. It's absolutely crazy. So
Love it already.
yeah, we got Madam Shadow from our pal Devin Whitlock. This one is she's an investigative reporter who happens to be a medium, and so people don't know if she's fake or not. And so you find out if she is in this one. We got another one, Charms, from our pal uh um Russ Cassidy, and he's got that one. He's been doing that one all over Kickstarter and all that stuff. So he was able to lend us a little piece of issue 3 or 4 here. So it was really really cool to kind of see that one. And then we got one from Austin Hamblin and Kurt Belcher. Kurt Belcher did the artwork on this one called The Great Day, and the short log line he gave me was, "A man enjoys his day no matter what the cost." But there's a really creepy twist at the end. um there's a point where somebody punches him and he just laughs and he falls on the ground. He's bloody and he's like, nothing's gonna ruin this day. But shortly you'll find out what happens at the at the end there. We got a few more. We got the Highway Phantom from Christoph RDGZ on if you guys know him all over the internet and all that stuff. He does some really good stuff. This one's called the Highway Phantom. It just think about, if you ever thought about one of those really cool, creepy stories where somebody picks up somebody on the side of a highway, or a trucker picks up. That's basically what this is. You can already kind of get the idea of what happens here, right?
And it sounds like riding the bullet.
Yeah, it's really creepy, but it's gorgeous artwork. It's black and white, but man, this thing is detailed and gorgeous and creepy. You're definitely gonna want to check that one out. And then we got one from Dan Tappan. He just did one called Sunken Kingdom. He just funded that one on Kickstarter. This one is Dance Macabre. Surrounded by constant death from the plague, Peter finally abandons his faith entirely after losing his wife, but a mysterious new priest in town must help him believe once more. Creepy. The priest is creepy. He should not be a priest. I'm just going to tell you that right now. Should not be a priest. And then we got one from a killer team here. We got Jordan Alaska and Ben Humanek on this one called Zombie MX. And this is a really cool story. This is a fun story. It's about zombies, right? But it takes place at a BMX derby. And so it's the last day of the Grind City Downhill Derby, and friends JJ and Molly are determined to win the 10K prize and save their super sick community center. But when a zombie outbreak hits alongside the starting line whistle, these BMXers will find themselves in a different kind of race for their own survival. This was a really fun, kitschy little story. That's like they wrote it in the middle of the pandemic, and there's all kinds of fun. Like you could totally tell you're just like you were bored. You really needed to get something with this stuff out there in the pandemic. So fun story, and the artwork is fantastic. Jordan Alaska did a great job on that one.
Wow, Murderer's Row.
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. And I was telling you, this one's our spooky issue, our creepy issue. But we also have some really awesome articles from a bunch of really great creators too. Let me pull up the articles. Where did I put them at? I swear I made this thing really easy to look through. But we got a cool one called from Luke Henderson. He's got one called Cosmic Comics: The Excellent Existential Horror of James Tynion IV and Eric Donovan. So he talks a little bit about their trilogy and all that crazy stuff that they got going on there. It's a really great article. I read it. It's a fantastic read. We got another article from Matthias Arudia. This one's called Ghosts of the Page, Comic Book Apparitions, and he's saw some of those documentaries. There's a documentary I think where Grant Morrison talks a little bit about talking with comic book the characters that he made, and actually dreaming and seeing these really sequences and these apparitions, these ghost kind of things. So he kind of goes through the different things that happen where people see comic book apparitions in the world and things of that nature. So he kind of talks a little bit about that, where people actually seen their characters come to life and they didn't know if it was a ghost or not. So kind of a cool little thing there. There's another one called Writing with Aphantasia: How Comics Help Me Visualize. That one's a really cool one because I don't know if you guys know what aphantasia is. No. It's like you can't one of my buddies gave it an an example of that the other day where like if I told you guys think about a red apple, right? You can think about a red apple. You could probably see a whole 3D model inside your head. You probably can see a bunch of them. You can now think about a bushel, right? Now think about different colored apples, right? You probably pictured all of those things, right? But aphantasia is the ability to not be able to do that. So you're not able to see those things. You know what an apple is, but you can't really picture it in your mind. So it's like you don't really have a mind's eye to put that.
Interesting.
So it's very interesting, and there's a really interesting article there that talks about how to visualize and how comic books helped him visualize and help him write, which was really cool. That one's from our pal Edward Kane, who just funded his first prose book, which is fantastic because he freaking broke through that glass ceiling and that he wrote it with his aphantasia and he got past it and it was freaking fantastic. So there's a couple more things there, and all kinds of there's going to be a couple more interviews. There's a one from our friends over there at All Ages of Geek, talking about how to write spooky scenes. This one's called How to Write Spooky Scenes, that makes the reader go, ah, and then haha. So that was really good. And then we got writing tools number 2 from our friend Adriano Ariangello. He recently did one in the first issue for us and talked to us a little bit about how to get to your first draft of your script. Now he's going to take a little bit further and get you to the second part of that thing, and then eventually we'll have him do more, and you'll be able to read all of these things all together, and then be able to come up with your first script, and then hopefully to print. And then so if you can read all of his articles, you'll be able to create along with him. So this is kind of those really fun things that we do with these articles.
So, you kind of talked at the, beginning that you kind of, this came out of your wanting to be able to create. Has this kind of doing this, has this made you kind of want to try your hand at, writing a comic book or telling a story?
Yeah, I did. It did because learning along with all this stuff, and when we got all these people to kind of do this stuff for us, obviously because I have to read all this stuff and then make some edits. I learned along with everybody that's reading with it too. So right now, we have a story in development with some great guys that they are funding Pocus Hocus right now. They did Grandma Chainsaw and Horse and Hell. We are developing a story called I Need Your Skin. It's my concept. I have my buddy Alan Dunford is going to be scripting that. We have Brian Belando doing the artwork, and Dave Lensk is going to be doing the letters on that one. So that one's going to be hopefully we can get it done and finished and so that it can be out in 2025. Right now we don't know if it's going to be on Kickstarter first or if we're going to take it to the direct market. But yes, we are. Long story short, yes, we're in development with a couple of different things. We're also going to help other creators publish some of their print editions of their books as well.
So, I'm hearing. What does your submission process look like exactly for aspiring creators? How do they get in touch with you?
So we want to give a space to everyone, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everyone who wants to do this right now, there is going to be a submission process, right? So we will accept there's going to be a theme every Halloween, right? We're probably going to do a certain thing Halloween, or next year we might do something a little bit closer to Christmas. We'll figure something out, but there's going to be one kind of themed issue, and then there's going to be one that is not themed, so that we can obviously help people, be creative and come up with a themed story, or just whatever you got, submit it and we'll put it in the magazine and we'll look it over. But what we do ask is that you have something finished, artwork is finished. If it's black and white, that's fine. If you need some lettering done, we can provide the lettering. if you need some coloring, we can do that as well. But if you prefer to be black and white, we accept black and white as well. There's really no like crazy extensive process, right? It's just if we have the space for it and everybody on the team gives it a green light, then we go with it. Otherwise, we hold it and contact you and see what you want to do with it, and we go from there.
Very cool.
So this is your second Kickstarter. Did I hear that correctly?
Yes, for us, yes, it's our
Yeah.
second one.
So what if anything did you learn, doing your first one that you've been able to apply to, this time?
I feel like the same things that we applied from the first time around was obviously outreach, right? Outreach is the big one. Um, the more outreach that you do, be pre campaign and during the campaign and like doing these things and coming live and talking to people and just being involved in, and that I feel like that's like an ongoing thing that you need to do when you do this stuff, right? Now every campaign is different, right? And you obviously have different genres and different things that you are trying to market, right? So there's obviously different places that you market those things, but I think outreach is that one thing that you are always needing to do over and over again when it comes to this stuff. And it's the key. The one main thing is pre-campaigning is key.
Interesting. Tell me more.
So I mean, a pre-campaigning, right? I mean, it's hard, right? So because getting it like with Kickstarters, I feel like if you get at least 100 people following your campaign pre-launch,
Mm-hmm.
you there's better chances of more people seeing it, right? So the more people that you get during your pre-launch, I feel like the better chances you are to fund, right? Now,
Right.
and then you also have to think about when you're funding, when you're releasing the like right now, getting closer to holidays is really really difficult, and everybody starts to take their books away or starts to slow down with those, because everybody's tightening up their belts right for the holidays. So it gets a little harder to market something the closer it is to holidays. So you really have to really hammer down on that outreach and getting to know people. And it's not just peddling your stuff. It's like being involved with the community, talking to them, getting to know them, being involved, right? Like and finding new spaces like this, right? It's like I found you guys because obviously everybody was doing the whole blue sky migration, right? And with
Mm.
new migration, there's new friends and faces. So it's kind of this really cool, fun thing now that we're like, hey, how's it going? And we're introducing ourselves, getting to know everybody, and it's this kind of new space and new like exciting world now at this new social media space. And it's just like it's been really fun and exciting to kind of do some new outreach there to some new people and to kind of see how receptive these things are, um and getting to know them and what they like too, is which is doing that is a lot is really cool.
So what rewards are you offering for potential backers of the campaign?
So we don't have too many, right? We want to keep this thing affordable, and we don't want you guys to have too many like choices, right? So we're only offering two covers, right? We have the main cover, which is the magazine looking cover, which looks like this. um it's got the white rabbit on the front, and it's got the gorgeous, it looks just like a magazine, right? And then we're
Mhm.
gonna do what we did with the first issue was we did a Wizard magazine homage, because we love all these really cool magazines, right? I'm a big, huge. I would like in the '90s. I was a '90s punk rocker, right? And I made old school zines. I took it to
Yes.
Kinkos. I cut and pasted things, right? Which is why I really love magazines, like because I made zines, and this actually was gonna be a homemade zine before, right?
Oh, really?
Yeah, that was my intention at first, right? And I was
Mhm.
like, it's gonna be too much work. I have to cut and paste all this stuff. It's gonna be nuts. So I was like, I've got access to artists. I got access, like, come on, I'm just gonna do it comic book format, right? So, so I was like, I'm gonna do it all digitally. It'll be a lot easier. But it was gonna be kind of like a zine kind of thing, and because of my punk rock days when we were doing making all those zines, I wanted to do something like that too. But so we created this thing. But the second cover is going to be that the first it covers that magazine, but the second cover is Fangoria magazine homage, and my pal Benjamin W. Morse did that. Gorgeous looking artwork, gorgeous looking stuff there. So we made it look just like how the Fangoria magazine covers look, with the film reel on the side, right? And the really cool stuff. So really cool stuff. And what's cool is once we hit $1,400 on when we fund, every physical backer gets the artwork from our Fangoria magazine. We're going to take off all the dressing, and we're just going to give you just the artwork of the elf there, from CJ Hudson's story. And then everybody gets a free mini art print in their stuff. And then digital backers always get some really cool digital rewards. We hook them up with like things like headers for your campaign, like your Kickstarter campaign. We'll like, literally last time around we had a creator in Australia buy our digital stuff because they wanted to learn how to build out their own Kickstarter page themselves.
Wow.
And what we did was I sent them my PDF that I created for our clients when we build out their pages, and it tells you step by step of how we're going to build out your page and what we're going to put and when we're going to put it. So everybody gets that, right? And so they don't have to. I mean, that's me like literally losing some money, right? Because we do that for a living, but we're giving it to people for free to learn for themselves, right? Because that's what we want. We want you. Yes, we want you to pay us to do it for you, right? Because we're a business, but we would love for you to do it on your own, right? So this next time around, I'm also going to do some really cool stuff where I'm probably going to sit down and pre-record myself and teach people how to build out their entire campaign using Canva only, and using the free Canva app, right? So because you could build out your campaign and make it look super professional with the tools you have at your fingertips. And I want to teach people, you have something free here with Canva. You can build out your whole campaign page with just using these kind of free apps and stuff like that, and still make it look freaking fantastic, right? So there's things like that we're going to do. We're going to offer people, but they can grab the first book, they can grab the second book. The second book is 100 plus pages, so it's $24 for that one. But we are doing that. We're also going to be offering only 50 of the homage cover, and once we hit a certain goal, we're going to turn that into a glow in the dark. It's going to glow blue. But if we don't, we're not going to upgrade anybody. So anybody who purchases that one, they would get a free upgrade. But if it doesn't hit that goal, they're just going to stay standard covers. So make sure if you guys want them to turn blue in the dark, let's hit that goal. Right? But
Yeah.
right? How cool would that be to get a free upgrade? So we do some fun stuff like that, right? Because we saw last time around, people really loved like the homage, and like we did an embossed cover last time. So we love really doing this. We saw that people really love that kind of stuff, but we only have two covers. You can get the first cover. You can still get the embossed cover from the first time around. We're also doing some really cool because it's spooky season. We're doing tarot cards, and I had a tarot card. I listen. I'm crazy, right? And I always think about things ahead of time. One of the reasons I made this tarot card is so that I could pitch people, right? Because it's a good pitch, right? So because the tarot card is the Fool card, and it's got Greg on there, right? Greg, we talked about Greg the magician, right? And Greg, if you guys know a little bit about the tarot card, the Fool is not a bad card, right? This just means like fool's ambition. Maybe you got everything ahead of you, right? You just got to watch out because you're literally standing at the cliff, everything in front of you, right? It's good stuff right here, right? Everything about the Fool card is what Greg is what encompasses Greg, right? Greg is this ambitious child. He wants to be a magician, right? and his grandfather, but his grandfather is this world-renowned magician, but he doesn't know that his grandfather is a real magician with real powers, and his hat and his wand are real. But when Greg says the magic word, and that creepy bunny pops out, right? So I literally, when I'm at a con, I use that to pitch people. I have all like ways to do it. Like I got it down packed, right? So we use that as a thing, and then also everybody who backs the campaign at a certain tier, they're going to get those for free. They're going to unlock if also once we get a goal, we're going to get I'm going to give everybody's going to get this free, but then people at a certain tier this will be turned into a metal card. So you'll be able to get a metal tarot card there. It's even got a really cool design on the back that we designed here in house. So it looks, and it's the size of a real tarot card. So that artwork was done by our pal Jay Hammond art on Instagram. So there's something here for everybody. So, and we're even offering some of our services on here. Like if you wanted to get some consultations, or you wanted us to help you build out some stuff, we're offering some of the services that we offer on our website at its lowest cost here if you pre-order, and it's good for 1 full year. So you can use it, and you can use it in the year of 2025. It doesn't have to be right then and there. You can hold it off, and we'll fulfill it for you guys whenever you need to. But it's all about giving back, right? So that's what we're kind of doing with this thing.
So, go ahead, Chad.
No, go ahead. I can.
Okay, yeah, I was just wondering, and you happen to mention your website. What is the website?
Geekcollective.net.
Geekcollective.net. I love it. Everybody write that down. But I'm curious because you've got all of this stuff going on with Archetypes magazine that could translate to a website, right? Mm-hmm. In theory, as we know, magazines print, it's not dead, but it's not what it once was. Yeah. I personally love the throwback approach that you're taking here, and I think it's obviously you're doing something right. But why not embrace technology a little bit more in terms of the delivery of your content?
So, I mean, elaborate on that a little bit more.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Why not make it a website instead of a magazine? How about? Sorry, I guess I could have been
like a digital magazine.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So that it's a great idea, right? We wanted to bring it to print, right? So we really love print. I love print, right? I'm a collector. My wife, she makes me keep them under the bed. So she doesn't have to see them. But no, I'm a huge comic book collector, right? And us collectors, we like to feel the pages. We like to smell the pages sometimes, right? So we really love digital, right? So we if you scroll down to the bottom of our page there, we kind of give you like a look into the brand of the Geek Collective brand, right? And there's a part where it says the power of print and digital. And I'm going to read this because when we wrote this, I was like, this is exactly what we want to do with this, right? And so it says, while numerous content creators have shifted their focus exclusively to digital mediums, we at Geek Collective firmly believe in the irreplaceable joy of holding a physical comic in our hands. We are committed to enhancing the digital experience by exploring innovative, engaging new concepts that resonate with the audiences as well. So what we want to do with that is we have creators that we are also working with that can actually animate actual panels and pages. So we're going to work with them to, maybe not this time around, but eventually in the future, we're going to have a digital offer where you can actually have the page come to life with audio and movement and all that stuff. So eventually we're going to work that out and try to figure out how we're going to put that together. And then that will be one of those things that we kind of create a new digital experience for the reader, right? We want people who can't get the digital the physical copies, like some of our friends overseas, right? I got a couple buddies who were like, I really wish that you guys could do this and this. And we take that stuff to heart and we listen to them and we say, okay, how can we implement this? We can't necessarily, make things super cheap because, we get hit by the shipping cost, right?
Mhm. Right.
Shipping across the sea. So that's hard, right? So what can we do? So we were like, okay, well, let's enhance the digital experience because right now the only thing that they can do is back us at a digital level. So why don't we make the digital experience just as exciting as the print experience? Because when I'm looking at Kickstarters, that's one of the things that I find that is lacking a little bit, right? You'll see these really great extravagant print campaigns and all these things, right? But then you look at the digital, they're just like, oh, digital deluxe. You just get these extra pages. You get me telling you a little bit of backstory, and then maybe some of the black and white sketches. Okay, fun. We all love that, right? But I can Google that stuff, right? Somewhere, right? Right. But I mean, not to talk down. I do that too, right? I put that stuff in there too because that's fun. I like to see that process, and that's not bad for creators who do that. But sometimes when you get it all the time, it's not as exciting as the print. You're just like womp womp kind of thing, right? So we wanted to make sure that that digital experience is just as enjoyable, right? So we're working and thriving to get our business there to where we can create something like that. So it just takes time and money and us being able to figure out the technology to be able to do that, right? Because we don't want it to come to you in this weird. It would be probably be easier for us to just throw it on a website and send you a link, right? We don't want to. I don't want to just throw it on a website and send you a link. I want you to be able to have it on your hand. I want you to be able to take it in your phone or take it on your tablet and take it places, and that thing to still be able to like have it in your PDF files or something, or in your digital comic library, but you just press a button and it comes to life, right? So we're trying to figure out things and ways that we can do that. I have ideas. I think I've got an idea of what to do. I've seen some things that we can do that way with with this creator we're talking about that is going to be doing this. He's got he's made it happen, right? So we're going to collaborate with him. We're going to work our way to that. We're eventually going to do some amazing things with digital very soon.
Very cool. Chad?
I think you may have kind of hit on it there. But in your opinion, and not to get too specific or specific cases, but what are some of the things that some people on Kickstarter may do that may be not as effective as it could be?
So Kickstarter's hard, right? So I think when you are, let's say if you're new, right, and you have an idea, you have the comic book, you're working on it, you got people working on it, right, and you want to take it to Kickstarter. Learn a little bit about Kickstarter, right? Learn a little bit about what it is, what it takes. Ask some people who've done it. Go take some backstage. See if somebody will like take you through a backstage pass of how it's built out and what they kind of did. Do your research, because Kickstarter is daunting sometimes, right? I've worked with creators where we tried to fund their thing, it didn't get funded, and they got discouraged and they never came back, right? So it's their prerogative if they don't want to come back, and right, that's fine. But if you want to not get there and not get to a point where you're gonna make a decision of not coming back someplace because that was just a crapshoot for you, you do a little bit of research, get a little bit of a feel, maybe do a small campaign, right? And maybe like a $100 campaign, get a feel of how it feels out a little bit and dip your toe in that way. Because I feel like a lot of creators who are really ambitious getting into this thing are like, I'm gonna throw a $20,000 goal on there, and they haven't really built out their base, or nobody really
Right.
knows who they are. Nobody's seen their stuff, right? A lot of people have seen some of my stuff, but you guys still haven't seen my stuff. So this world's still huge, right? Even though this comic book world is still a small comic book space, it's still kind of a big space that there's still going to be people that don't know you. So you still got to get out there and build out your base and always be building your base. So I guess maybe that's two things: build out your base and do a little bit of research on Kickstarter or any other crowdfunding space.
Right. How many campaigns does this make for you now?
So this is only 2 campaigns that we've done ourselves, right?
Okay.
But we've collaborated with over 40 campaigns now.
That's amazing.
And 4 of them were not successful. I will say
only 4 out of 40 were not successful. That's pretty good.
Yeah, and it's about, like I said, it's about building out your base, knowing your market and how to market to them, right? It's all research. Like literally, it's like it's not rocket science. I didn't just, like it's literally just researching who you're selling to, the trends. It's like literally it's a sales any sales job is the same thing, right? You're like there's tips and tricks. You get somebody to say yes 3 times in a conversation, they're more, they're probably gonna buy the item, right? So it's things of that nature. You put some sales tactics in there, you put some things. It's a fun little thing that you're doing, and you're building out a campaign, and you got to know a little bit about sales and creating campaigns and all this kind of stuff, because it can be a little scary and daunting putting yourself out there, right?
Sure. Chad?
Now, when you do like conventions, do you kind of you approach some artists and let them know what you offer and stuff like that, or that you have that you do these anthologies that they can get in on?
Yeah. Like at every con that I go to, we try to talk to the creators, right? Because this is what it is, right? And what's funny is I don't ever get time to leave my table. Like people are always constantly coming to the table because like I said, we get them in and we pitch them, man. We pitch them. We're those guys are like, if they walk by our table and they look in our direction, be like, hey, how's it going? Do you guys like comics? You guys like a magazine? Yeah, you like Shonen Jump, right? And we're like, oh yeah. And then you kind of, if you've done the con thing, you kind of know when they're gonna walk up to you, right? You kind of see in there when you're talking to them that they maybe know they're not as receptive and they're just gonna keep walking, right? So you just kind of, all right, cool, have a great day, all right. But no, you just they tend to come to us anyway, right? And they kind of see what we're doing, and they see our banner that says Comic Book Art Studio, and they're like, I gotta go see that. And every con that we've gone to, there's been a creator that says, I saw your sign and I've been meaning to come out here all day, all weekend, and I finally got able to leave my table, and I want to talk to you guys about this stuff. What is it about? So, and then we just pitch them, and what's cool is we not only do we have the comics there, we also have a page of what we've listed out of the things that we do and hire all the creators for, and what we're offer other people and stuff like that. So if they come to us and talk to us about that stuff, we're prepared, and we show them everything that we are able and capable of doing, and then we gotta go through, talk to them that way, and we get their information, and we build relationships that way. So there's actually some more creators that we just met this last time around, that we're gonna that I need to actually reach out to and talk to them a little about possibly collaborating and doing some really fun stuff here in the near future, because they are funding their stuff on Kickstarter right now as well. And it's their first book, it's their first time around, so I want to kind of talk to them a little bit about their experience and how they felt about it, and then possibly collaborate and kind of get some feedback from them, and maybe toss their answers and comments about their first Kickstarter campaign in the next issue, so. And that's kind of one of those things that we do. We're just always kind of talking to creators and kind of getting the lay of the land of see how they feel and how they felt about things, and
kind of keep that circle going.
And that's why we call ourselves Geek Collective, because we're a collective of geeks that just, we want this thing to kind always be there, right? We want this to always come back around, and we don't want this medium to go away. And the way we do that is we keep it in the circle. We keep people excited about it, right? So we at least we try to talk to people more about it every day. So we're doing a little bit of our piece to it. So
Excellent, man. Well, listen, we're coming down to about our last 10 minutes, so we got time for just a couple more questions.
yeah.
I don't want to eat up and any more of your time, but looking ahead, we're just now talking about issues 1, issue 2. Have you started laying the groundwork for issue 3 yet?
Yes, we actually have a couple of books that we're going to put, a couple of comics we're going to put into there. We're still looking for 1 or 2 more issues to put in. But we have people who have submitted this last time around who weren't able to get their books in and get some articles in. So we're going to kind of go back to them and ask them to put some things in there as well. But yeah, right now we literally only have 1 article. So we're looking for articles. If you guys want to talk about geeky comics, or you want to interview somebody, or if you want to pitch me a really fun pitch about geek culture, let me know. And we're always we're all ears. We want to hear it. And if it's a fun thing that we feel that people would love to hear from you, we'll put it in, right? So it's always, pitch us if you want. Send us some books and stuff like that. And what's fun about this is that we don't own everything, right? We don't own anything. You still own all your IP. You are still entitled to pitch it around, to give it to, so it's kind of like this co-op thing, right? So that's kind of what we're building with this thing. So we really love co-op businesses. We really love that stuff. I'm part of 2 of them, right? I'm part of Age of Radio, which is a co-op business, and I'm also a co-op owner of Band of Bards. So I really love and Geek Collective is a co-op business. So we really love these kind of things. So we want our magazine to be co-op too. So we really try to encompass that within these pages, and anybody can pitch, anybody can submit. Now we can't guarantee that it'll be in this next issue, but if we really love it and we keep it, we might put it in another issue. And yeah, I mean, we'll do some fun stuff with you.
Very cool. Chad?
Where do you see the indie comic scene? Where do you think it is now, and where do you think it is? Moving towards.
This is probably going to be okay. I'm probably going to get canceled for this. No. Okay, this is what I see.
End of show.
I see a lot of small publishers on the ICV2, right? The ones that are not like DC, Marvel, Dark Horse, big, those ones that, so like smaller ones like Band of Bards. Like Band of Bards is not going anywhere. I'm not speaking for them, right? So, but I do see like smaller publishers maybe not being in the DM very, very much, right? I see them more doing the self-publishing thing. I see them more doing the crowdfunding thing. I also see them. I also see people, conversating about, do we even need distributors? Why do we still need them? Why is this like it feels like distribute. I mean, I don't know, maybe I'm talking out of the side of my mouth, but it feels like distribution process is a like a dinosaur thing, right? Because this world is moving, and it feels like everybody's moving over the whole. Do we need a distributor in the day of, when you have like many things like print on demand, or all these digital printing processes, and these ways that people can access these things a lot faster, quicker, and then push them out direct to consumer, instead of to distributor, and then that way, and then this way, and there's too many middle people. I see the middleman being eliminated. If we want to say, long story short, I feel like the industry, the comic book industry, is no longer receptive to the middleman.
Interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah. Canceled? No, I'm just kidding.
No problem. I heard everybody get real mad at me just now.
Yeah. I don't think so. I mean, you're not wrong. Times
Maybe I am wrong, and maybe please, and if I am wrong, prove me wrong, because every business deserves to continue to thrive, right? And the distribution process is needed, yes, on bigger things like the book market and things of that nature. But do this small indie scene, do they need it, right? I see the middleman pushing them out. And because I feel like they're being pushed out because they're not hitting a bracket of, they're not printing enough, they're not making enough money, they're not popular enough, they're not enough. All I keep hearing is they're not enough, right? And I feel like when people hear that they're not enough so much, that they tend to say, you know what, I am enough, and I'm gonna prove it, right? And I feel like that's the reason why.
Okay.
And I guess my final question would be: are you reading anything currently that you would recommend somebody check out?
Right now, so I literally have no time to read anything because right, that's the ongoing answer for every comic book creator.
Well, you're in the middle of a Kickstarter, so just
I'm so I
besides
don't
the
have
panicking.
So I guess I lied. So the only thing I am reading right now is Capable from Jonathan Hedrick, because I'm laying it out for him. So that one, and then I just finished reading Dan Calvin's Sherlock Holmes, The Phantom Masquerade. It's like a really cool Phantom of the Opera Sherlock Holmes mystery. Dan Calvin did the American Dreams book from Band of Bards. And then I think he did Night Wrath as well. So that one just wrapped up on Kickstarter and funded, and he's getting close to printing that one as well. I also designed and print and laid that one out, but that's why I was reading that one. But that one's a freaking fantastic story. Man, that guy knows how to write a Sherlock Holmes mystery like so good. Like he knows, he's seen every Sherlock Holmes story, read them all, movies. Like he's been to the Phantom of the Opera. He loves the theater. Like if there's anybody who should be writing a Phantom Sherlock story, that's the person who should be doing it.
Awesome. Well, Joey, thank you for your time this evening.
Thank you guys. I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. I know we slapped this together kind of last minute, but it's been a fun hour.
It's been fantastic.
Yeah, and I'm glad, we're always happy to help get the word out on Kickstarters and whatever else we can do to support the independent comic scene. So you heard it here first.
You know how to get a hold of me.
Exactly. You heard it here first, folks. Geek Collective's independent geek culture magazine, Archetypes issues 1 and 2, now funding on Kickstarter. Get out.
How many days?
How many more days?
We have 6 days. 6 days left as this recording.
Okay, 6 more days. Get out there. Show them some love. It's a good cause. Independent comics, independent art, that whole scene, man. That's where the love is. That's where the heart is. Get in there and show them that you got some love and some heart for it. Joey Galvez, thank you so much for hanging out with us this hour.
Thank you.
Absolutely, man. And just as a final thought, the world is a crappier place than usual right now, but it doesn't have to be. Get out there, read something cool, support independent art. Tell someone that you care about them. Just do something to spread love in the world, because right now we need more. We need that more than ever. So thank you very much for listening. We're the Comic Watchers, and this is our show.